All right, so a little bit about what I'm doing. Basically, I have created this long chat um, that essentially, and I'm starting with FAR, the FAR section of the CPA, that essentially makes FAR multiple choice questions from scratch. So I gave this little prompt, and essentially I said, if I were part of the AI CPA and we're creating a CPA FAR exam, what questions would you put on the exam? So I basically want to mimic the exam, no harder, no easier, because a lot of the testing materials make it like a lot harder than the actual test is. And so I just said like I wanted exactly on par, no harder, no easier. And so, it started doing these questions and it's really nice. I like the setup a lot here. And, then I answer it or I say I have no clue. And then it gives me the right answer and then explains it. And then down here, I said I make it more visual. And it also goes ahead and throws the next question. So, yeah. So I did that at first, and now I am building an actual tool for it. So, this is me kind of prompting it, and unfortunately, um, Fable 5 is still unavailable, which is really sad because it's insane. But we'll be using Opus for this, which is still insane. So, and it uses less credits, which is nice. Um, but yeah, basically, I am going to um, essentially build this prompt to create this CPA SaaS tool, and this is just kind of me walking through it. Um, so you really don't have to even prompt it with much. You can start with just like an MVP, like minimum viable product, and then from there you can kind of reiterate it. So that's probably what I'll do. But like I said, this is just me walking through doing it, and it's kind of just me documenting my whole journey. Essentially, my goal, and I kind of said this way up here, I believe, is I'm doing a large case study to see if I can create my own study materials with the help of AI for the CPA exam and pass all the sections without paying for any materials. Because the whole point of me doing this is Becker is absurdly expensive. I mean, it's like at minimum like 2,000 plus, and then you can pay for some package that's like 6,000 plus. And then Ninja CPA is a great alternative, which is either $67 a month for like the supplemental or 87 for a little bit more, and you get like the whole book. Um, but even that can be a little pricey for supplemental. Not too bad, but so I want to create this and basically see if I can pass the CPA sections without anything besides AI. And obviously, I'll have to pay for the actual exams because a lot of times this isn't a problem for like a lot of people because the like jobs will reimburse expenses. But for me, I'm trying to ultimately create my own firm because I already have a year of experience from other jobs, so I can get that signed off on. So I'm trying to jump straight into the job field. So I, you know, don't have a company that will reimburse these costs. So this is kind of budget mode for me. So anyway, um, yeah, here's the prompt that I'm going to be creating. Let's see. get and then I want to make sure this is in there because this is the main thing. Basically, my strategy, which is kind of a hot take for a lot of people, but this is just what I'm planning on doing, is just knocking out a bunch of uh, trial-based simulations, aka sims, and multiple choice questions, and honestly, just knocking them out. Um, Law of large numbers. So basically, um, yeah, just hit a ton of those questions every day until basically I know pretty much all the material. Um, yeah, I mean it's pretty simple. Like I'm not a big lecture guy. I just kind of believe in just putting in the reps, and you'll just get better naturally, especially with good explanations from AI. So the main thing I want is just practice exams, and I want them to simulate um, the actual exams. So like for example, um, I'll say this. I'll show you in a second. Section CPA FAR exam format. Yeah. So for the FAR section, for example, I want it formatted just like an actual test. You can add, and then quick thoughts, but do what you think is best. After answering the question, there should be an explanation. There should be an explanation of why the correct answer is correct. I am less concerned about why the other answers, choices are incorrect. Rather, I just want the most efficient way to solve the problem correctly, formatted in an easy to read / learn format. And then, like I said, I could keep prompting it, but ultimately, AI is so good these days. Um, you really formatting it too much is just going to limit it, honestly. So I'm going to take this prompt and go to Claude Code and let's see, I'm going to do this. And then I also think it would probably be smart to do note the chat, recall the chat that created exam questions, format it similar to this, make the style, make sure it's the style of the app modern, but also simplistic and easy to follow. Later, I want to turn this app public with potential future paywalls, at least to cover any AI credit costs. But right now, I will be just testing this myself. Like I said, I could keep prompting, but I think it's just redundant. And this is pretty important. Make sure to change, oh, so sad, to the best version for this. Obviously, when you're just doing normal questions, I'd recommend just Sonnet low because it doesn't use much credits. But when building an app, I definitely would turn it to the highest model you can. Tell you what, let's see here. I'm going to make a new folder real fast. CPA prep tool. Cool. So send it again. And that's where we'll house it. And let's see what it creates. One prompt. Like I said, I mean, honestly, I could have probably done just as well if I would have literally just said, create me a CPA study tool. But, I just wanted to show kind of what I'm thinking for V1. And I plan on iterating this app in public on my YouTube channel because it was having a few problems with getting some answers, like getting confused with some answers. So we'll see how this tool does. But like I said, I mean, the whole point of me creating this YouTube channel is to kind of document my whole journey from starting to study for the CPA all the way to creating a firm, including building my own study materials and maybe potentially monetizing that or giving it to my community for free. I'll also probably start a Discord. But anyway, I just wanted to do this to see how it does with a one prompt and see if it's actually a tangible study tool for me to pass the sections of the CPA exam. So it's still building. It's been about 7.5 minutes, but just kind of wanted to yap and kind of show you all how this looks. It's pretty sick. It's building the 3 core sections and 3 disciplines, and it's doing a learn mode with how to solve it explanations, a quiz mode, and an exam simulator, which is the main thing I want to start with and kind of build it out from there. Because people learn in different ways, but once again, I think a lot of these tools are just really overly complicated. There's so much, and it's kind of just like to market it, just be like, oh, look how much we have. But I think if you just get to the core, it's just so much easier. Like I said, I'm a big believer of law of large numbers, where if you just really just hit a bunch of questions every day, then you'll naturally just get so much better at whatever you're learning. So I'm convinced that, yeah, if it just, I hit every topic through multiple choice questions and then trial based simulations, that's really all you need. You don't need flashcards. You don't need vocab words. You don't even need lectures. You just, I don't know, in my opinion, it's just a more fun way to learn. Um, and so that's kind of why I want to focus on the actual exam simulator. And so this is kind of what it's doing. Another thing to note is that you can use this through an IDE like Visual Studio Code, where basically you can integrate Claude within Visual Studio Code, and it might make it better. Um, but also, when I did that, I used Fable 5, which is now unfortunately unavailable right now. So it might be not as cool as it could be. We'll see. But I'll probably recreate this if Fable 5 gets re released. But the idea starting out is really pretty simple. I just want AI to create me questions that resemble a whatever section of the CPA exam that I want it to. In this case, I'm starting with FAR. All right, so here are first looks at the study tool, and it's still building it out. It's super cool how you can kind of see it being built out as it's actually being coded. Um, but yeah, you can just look through here. I had to enable some stuff with Python and um, PowerShell, and it's just kind of walking us through the building of the app. So I don't know if this is the actual app or if it is just showing what it's building. And once again, I'm going to have to iterate this a lot. Like, I don't know if it has it where it can make essentially infinite CPA questions, or if it's just being actually loaded onto the app where once you go through them, it'll just start repeating. Because obviously, for example, I'd want more than 50 questions total. But let's see if I can navigate this. So here is the dashboard. Obviously, I'd change coloring up and stuff. And here are the course sections. I wonder if those are the press exams. I guess that's the exam simulator. Let's see what this looks like. Oh yeah, this looks really nice. Okay, nice. It just finished up. So let's see if we can get on the app. Nice. All right. So here it is. Here is version 1 of CPA command, which is what they named it. So I want to do an exam simulator. Yeah, see, it's simple, which I actually like, which I want it, more features than this eventually, but I like its simplicity actually, at least for how I study. And I'm doing FAR right now. And yeah, those are the exact like actual exam structure. Yeah, that's the actual exam structure of an actual CPA exam. Um, for this, let's do a quick mock. That's awesome. All right, so this is how version 1 looks. Like I said, this is just the quick mode, which is cool because you don't want to take the whole exam the whole time. And so let's see. And I'm going to do it to where you can have the section. There's certain like disciplines and sections within FAR, some which are more heavily tested than others. And I also have a plan to structure it kind of like Anki, if you ever heard of that. Basically, you can like answer like if your confidence is low, medium, or high, and then based off that answer, it kind of uses algorithms to feed you, what you actually need to learn rather than repeating the stuff that you already know. And I want to kind of implement that into here, which I think would be awesome, and it's a very efficient way to study, yeah, quickly, but also actually learn the stuff. So project booking 200,000 includes, and I'm new to studying, so I probably don't know many of these answers, to be honest. But like I said, as I grow this channel, I want to, um, you know, study more and get better at it while I build this tool. Textbook income, 3,000 want interest, never taxable. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a clue, which doesn't matter. It's besides the point. And like I said, I'll put like low confidence level when I add that, and then put that. Okay, I want it to, and this is probably the quiz mode, but I want it to be where um, I get the answer immediately. I don't want to answer all 25 questions. Uh, and that is flashing already. It's making me nervous. Um, Before getting seeing the answers, I want it to be, um, pretty immediate. And I wanted to be able to submit it wherever I want, almost like one at a time rather than a full test booklet. But I can reiterate on that easily. So let's see what it'll do here. Oh wow, it's doing 5 testlets. I don't know why it's doing that. That's way too many, especially for this time frame. Let's see if I can just submit them all. I just want to see if it shows me explanations once I do submit it. Because this is obviously, I want it to be one at a time. I don't want to have to do this every time. For some reason, it shows the SIMs before, even though you answered them after, so that's a little misleading. Um, I like these explanations okay, but I think just one at a time will make it look so much cleaner, which I'll need to reiterate. Um, but yeah, I kind of want it more visual, less wordy, and just like showing me like from journal entries how to actually do this stuff. And like I said, I want it one at a time so that I don't have to read through all these. It looks so bulky. So I'll reiterate and make this much better, but it's still pretty cool to see a first working version. All right, here's more of a tour of it. So here's the dashboard, shows the streaks and all that stuff, which once again, I'm really not concerned about the streaks and stuff like a lot of people are. I just want it kind of more straightforward, which it'd be easy to add that, but I just don't really care enough. So let's see, FAR. So this is kind of what I was more talking about instead of the exam simulator. Let's just do learn. And I want it to show one at a time. So let's see, just if we did that. Oh, it shows the difficulty. That's pretty cool. And it shows the category. All right, that's awesome. Okay, so this is kind of more of what I was looking for, the learn tool. Really good. It should, you answer it. And like I said, I want to add Anki where it's like low, medium, or high confidence, something kind of like Anki where it develops an algorithm to, train you better. And then the solution, Yeah, I mean, I like that. Pretty simple, straightforward, not too many words. Like I said, I'm just low large numbers. I just want it to be quick. I don't want like a super long explanation learning everything. I want it to just tackle the immediate topic and move on. So, something like that. Yeah, I mean, I like these explanations. They're short and sweet, but you can just knock out a lot at the time. So, um, they all be. I don't know. They might all be B. I need to, no. Okay, we're good. We're good. And then another thing is I need to ask, where are these questions originating from? This is obviously important because I don't want them to just be stored on there where you can't generate anymore. I want them to constantly be generating new questions, um, based on what they think is best for the AICPA exam. So this is essentially a sample right now, which is fine, not a big deal. Eventually, I want it to generate fresh, good, new questions automatically, um, within the app whenever you want, rather than there just being like a preloaded test bank in there, because obviously that would get super redundant. But if they're just consistently generating, I don't even have to store a big test bank. Rather, I can just kind of generate a few at a time or 50 at a time, depending on if you're doing the practice test. That way, they're constantly flowing. You're constantly learning more rather than just it reiterating the same questions. Like I said, I hope that Fable 5 comes back out and I can kind of redo all this. But this was a good version 1. And I just kind of wanted to build this really fast to see kind of what it would look like.